Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia and Diva Cat.
Well, welcome back to Diva Details. I'm Diva Mia.
Diva Cat.
And today we're going to be discussing an autoimmune primary biliary cholangitis, also known as PBC, kind of near and dear to my heart.
What is PBC?
Well, PBC used to be called primary biliary cirrhosis. And people, whenever they hear the word cirrhosis, they think of alcoholics, right?
Right.
So what they did is they've changed the name because primary biliary cholangitis is specifically not related to alcohol. I mean, I guess you could drink and make it worse, but it's not caused by alcohol abuse. So primary biliary cholangitis is non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver. So your body starts attacking the small bile ducts, your liver, and starts to destroy them, and they don't really know why.
That's not caused by alcohol abuse, but if you have it, the alcohol would make it worse.
Alcohol would make it worse. So anybody that has PBC shouldn't drink at all.
Should not drink at all.
There's lots of restrictions too. So you shouldn't be drinking. You shouldn't be doing a lot of different things. But the whole stigma of cirrhosis is with primary biliary cholangitis just because it is an autoimmune.
Yeah. So you don't really know what causing it. You don't really know how did you get it?
Okay. Well, there's usually a trigger, and usually for me, I guess my story starts back in 2015 when I was trying to get pregnant with my second child. I was 44 years old.
44?
Yeah. So actually, I think I was 43 when I actually was doing the IVF and stuff. So most insurances require that you try a drug called Clomid. And, it's funny because I've been on some of the chat boards, and there's a lot of people with PBC that had used Clomid in the past as well. I started off with a drug called Clomid. And what happened is it's a drug that just makes you kick out extra eggs.
Right.
And within a few days of being on Clomid, I had a massive reaction. My feet looked like balls underneath them. It swelled up so bad. I couldn't walk. And I woke up in the morning, I couldn't walk. I was in so much inflammation, so much pain. And we called the doctor. He says, okay, stop that immediately. Well, that was fine. We stopped it. And it was noted that I couldn't take Clomid because I had an allergic reaction to it.
Right.
Well, one of the side effects of Clomid is actually death or liver damage. And it does happen.
It does happen.
I don't know what the percentage is specifically related to Clomid, but it's one of the side effects that they don't tell you about. So I went for blood work, and my alkaline phosphatase was elevated into the 400s, and it was prior to the Clomid, it was normal.
Oh, wow.
And I had done blood work before because I needed blood work done to go through the fertility treatments.
All of this is for fertility treatment.
All of this was for fertility. I needed blood work done for fertility treatments. And so my blood work prior was in the 40, 50s on alkaline phosphatase. So it went up tenfold. So it was in the 400s. And my doctor was like, wow. They go, you have some serious liver problems. And I go, well, it wasn't like that before Clomid.
Yeah.
But we went ahead and we went with IVF. I didn't have any reactions to the IVF medications. Only the pre-IVF stuff, which was the Clomid. And we found out that it wasn't my eggs anyway. It was, this is a problem with the medical community, is they always blame the woman if she's older that she can't get pregnant.
That is correct. That is the correct statement.
But they should have tested my husband first because his sperm, even though he was a year younger than me, his sperm was crap.
Right.
It was like functioning at 10%. So no matter how much Clomid they would have given me, I would still not have been able to get pregnant because of his sperm, and yet it caused liver injury. Okay, so liver damage. I basically got liver damage. Long story short, I had a baby. I had no problems, but I had these elevated liver enzymes.
So it stays with you.
It stays with you because it caused major liver damage, right? And the doctors were doctors, and they weren't specialists, And so every year or two, they'd say, wow, your liver enzymes are elevated. I go, yep. They go, we should go get an ultrasound just to make sure everything's okay and that you don't have fatty liver disease. So every year I'd go into the ultrasound, every year, every other year, I'd go in and get an ultrasound of my liver, and they said, no, your liver looks fine.
Okay.
Well, the problem is that PBC you can't detect.
You can detect.
With a liver, but I might not have had it at that point anyway. So I just had liver damage.
You have to go by the symptom for the PBC.
Yeah.
You can
So
notice yourself.
yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, I functioned quite well with liver damage. I mean, I didn't find that I get tired once in a while, but I didn't seem to have any symptoms or problems at all until 2023. So in June of 2023,
yes,
I found out that my husband at the time of 28 years, I was with him for 28 years, that he was having an affair.
Oh my God.
Relationship affair with his assistant. And
just like
yeah.
deja vu story.
Well, yeah. It's a whole thing, but I don't want to go into that. And then so in June I found that out. In July I filed for divorce. And in August of 2023, the Lahaina fires happened. And that had a huge stress impact as well. So first I had the major stress of his affair. Then I had the stress of
from the fire,
filing for divorce. Then I had stress from the Lahaina fires, trying to manage that with friends and family. And then in September, I got divorced. In October, I was back packing up my house, and a kid ended up drowning that I pulled out of the water unresponsive.
Oh my God.
And so that was extremely stressful too.
Stressful.
And then in November, my father had a stroke.
Oh my God.
So it was like
5 months.
Yeah, 5 months. So. It was back to back to back things, 5 or 6. Yeah. Autoimmunes a lot of times, most of the times, have a trigger.
Yeah.
And I was not very good at regulating my emotion at this time because I had stress after stress after stress. And I'm usually pretty good at regulating my emotions and my stress, but I just knocked me out. And it was amazing how much trauma and stress I went through in 5 or 6 months.
Is that why you throw yourself to work and just work?
Well, I wasn't working at this time because I was dealing with the divorce and everything else.
That's work.
Yeah, well.
It was a faster divorce.
It was a fast divorce. Yes, I got divorced in 60 days. So what ended up happening was, I think it was probably the most traumatic was the divorce because it was a shock. Yeah. It was not expected.
You didn't know it was coming.
It was not expected. It triggered the autoimmune. So the autoimmune was not active until then.
Right.
And primary biliary cholangitis, the thing about it is it tends to impact mostly women.
Huh.
I said about 80% of the people that it impacts are women.
Is it a way for the treatments or how you affect your eating?
No.
You need to look at it?
Well, I'll go through that in a second. So I didn't know what I had. All I knew was I was itching a lot. And I had no idea.
Oh my God.
So I went to my doctor. He goes, I don't know. Do you have fleas? Do you have pets? They have fleas. I go, they don't have fleas. I go, I know if they have fleas. I've seen fleas before. They don't have fleas. And then there's like, well, maybe there's bed bugs. So I had somebody come out. I do travel a lot. So I was like, okay, that would be terrible. But so I went and hired 2 different pest inspectors to come to my house and say, nope, you don't have bed bugs. You're just itching. They don't know why. They said, go talk to your dermatologist. So I asked my doctor for a referral to a dermatologist.
Okay.
Dermatologist says it doesn't look like bug bites. It looks like you're scratching due to some itch or histamine response. So they gave me a cream.
Like you itch all over your body?
Yeah, I itched all over my body. And at this time, I had also gone and done blood work. My liver enzymes were in the 900s.
Oh my God.
At the end of 2023. I was like, something's going on. But I didn't know, but I was itching every night. It was so terrible. It's called pruritus, I believe is what it's called for PBC. It's one of the main things is the itching is a symptom that it's getting bad. And I went to my primary care physician because I had heard on the radio that Ozempic can decrease your liver enzymes. And I was thinking, well, if I can decrease my liver enzymes, maybe the itch will go away because the itch got worse as my liver enzymes got bigger.
Okay.
He goes, I don't know. Let's send you to a specialist. So, 10 years later, they're finally sending me to a specialist.
10 years? Took them 10 years?
It took them about 10 years, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, 9 years. 9 years. I know. 9 years later. So I go to the specialist, and he's actually the head of a liver institute. They had me run blood work before I went to the liver institute. And my alkaline phosphatase at this time was 1100. So it had gotten really high.
Got really high.
So it's supposed to be like in the 40s, 50s. It's 1100. I was like, wow. And of course, my oldest son was with me. The guy was great. He spent an hour and a half with me telling me how serious this is. He goes, I can't guarantee it until we do a biopsy. Yeah, until we do a biopsy of your liver. And I go, you're going to have to go in for a biopsy. He goes, but I almost guarantee you, I see this all the time. He's like, there's 3 or 4 women, typically women that come in a month with exactly what you have.
Oh, wow. It's at that high rate.
Yeah. And he said, there's no way we would have been able to detect it with a ultrasound. He goes, you have to do a biopsy.
They'll have to do a biopsy.
I think 2 or 3 weeks later, I went in for the biopsy. I was trying to keep it quiet and private because I didn't know what was going on. I had also tested positive for lupus because typically when you have an autoimmune, you may test positive for more than one, but that might just be related because of all the inflammation in my body. We just don't know. I had also gone to a hormone doctor and she saw my liver enzymes and she freaked out. She's like, you need to get into a doctor now.
Oh, wow.
So she was more worried than my primary care physician was. But I went in, I did the biopsy, which was interesting. It's actually a little painful to recover from. I wasn't expecting that. But a few days later, it came back and it said, sure enough, I have stage 3 cirrhosis, which I guess is better than stage 4 because stage 4 is liver transplant level. But I had stage 3 cirrhosis and stage 3 on the outside and stage 3 fibrosis interior. So my liver is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh. So I got back in to see the liver specialist right away.
Okay.
And so they tried to put me on this medication called Urso because it's the main treatment for PBC.
PBC.
And of course, since I'm very sensitive to medications, I had
You break out?
Oh, I had heart palpitations.
Oh
I passed out. I fell down. I thought that I was dying. I literally thought I was dying. In fact, I texted people. I go, if I don't make it through the night, guys, here's my kids' numbers. Here's my ex-husband's number. Here's my father and my
family.
I mean, it was bad. I had probably 3/4 of all the side effects all at once. Yeah. So I was on Urso, and Urso is like an acid. And it tries to open up the bile ducts, right? And I had not been, I was on it and I was like, okay, this is terrible. There was no way I was going to survive it. So, of course, I stopped that right away. I told the doctor, they're like, there's no way you had all these side effects. I go, well, I did because I documented, and I literally documented it hour by hour as things started happening.
Yeah. You're a very smart woman that you keep track of all of that for you make it so much easier to diagnose, I guess.
I tend to have allergic reactions to all different kinds of pharmaceuticals. I have allergic reactions to antibiotics, to pain meds. Ever since my liver got damaged,
yes,
I have a difficult time processing pharmaceuticals.
Is that why you're seeking alternate medicine?
That's why I usually go alternative, yeah. You know, it's kind of funny that when you only have one path, it actually makes things easier. So I was like, thank you, God, for only giving me one path. Now, there were a couple other drugs that are in the works for FDA approval, but I didn't want to try them. And they weren't available yet anyway.
Specifically for this? PBC.
Specifically for PBC. The reality is Urso doesn't cure it. It delays and may quote unquote, prolong your life. And I had already so the doctor told me that I had, with the level of liver condition, I probably would only make it 3 to 5 years without a liver transplant.
That is serious.
Yeah, and he said it in front of
the kid, your oldest,
which was probably not the best thing.
Not the best thing.
Doctors say stuff like that because they always like to tell you the worst case scenario.
Please do, though.
And the other problem was, I looked up liver transplants, and people that have autoimmune diseases that reject their own liver.
They reject their own liver.
They tend to reject livers that are given.
Yes.
And the rejection medications that they put you on, I don't know if I could survive those either.
Yeah, or you're allergic to a lot of modern medication. You may have to.
I am,
deep before you do anything.
Yeah. So, but I've done okay with natural herbs and things like that. I was like, okay, well, the doctor said no alcohol ever. I was like, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I did like a glass of wine here and there, but it wasn't like I drank a lot. So I just cut all the alcohol out of my life completely. I stopped sugar.
Oh, that's a hard part.
I stopped processed foods.
Oh. And
I went, if it's not from the earth or from an animal, I'm not eating it. And I cut back on a lot.
You don't eat red meat either.
I very rarely eat, because beef is not the easiest on your liver. Okay. And so I cut back on a lot, and I said, okay, I'm just going to go natural.
Yes.
And I started doing research.
Yes.
I said, okay, what can I do? Let's think about this. My liver is having difficulty detoxing itself.
Right.
Because the bile ducts are blocked. Let me find what I can do. First thing on the list is milk thistle, right? Everybody says milk thistle is great for the liver. So milk thistle's on my list every single day. I take milk thistle every day.
Every day.
Dr. Berg, I don't know if you heard Dr. Berg on, he's getting more and more popular. He's got a lot of alternative treatments. He said if you have cirrhosis or any type of liver problem, you should take TUDCA.
What is TUDCA?
TUDCA is a bile salt. It basically declogs your bile ducts. I think, honestly, Urso is probably designed off of it, but it's a natural bile salt.
It comes as a form of a supplement?
It's a supplement. It comes from a little bit of Chinese medicine, but TUDCA is like a natural version of Urso, if you will.
Oh, okay.
So I started taking TUDCA. I take a selenium. I take choline.
What is selenium?
Selenium is I don't know exactly what it is. It's another supplement that you can take.
To take to, like, all of this is to build your...
To detox your liver. So my thought process is if I can detox the liver, get rid of the bad cells, hopefully, because the liver regenerates every 21 or so days, right?
Right.
Hopefully, eventually, the liver will stop regenerating scar tissue.
Right.
And regenerate healthy.
Healthy liver.
But how do you do that? Well, you got to also trigger autophagy and stem cell production.
So you have to change your whole lifestyle.
Your whole lifestyle changes.
PBC
changes your whole life overnight.
It's already,
I mean, I wasn't sleeping well because most of the itching happens at night for some reason. Like the majority of the itching was between 11 and 3 a.m. And that's kind of like prime sleep hours.
Yeah.
I was having difficulty sleeping, etc. I said, okay, so I'm going to detox. So I started doing different liver detoxes and cleansing. They didn't seem to work very well. I went to the sauna. I did a lot of sauna stuff. Now, I have in the past fasted a lot.
You did a lot of water fasting.
I have done a lot of water fasting. My longest water fast was 40 days. And I like water fasting because even before I had primary biliary cholangitis or PBC, I had a lot of inflammation from, when your liver's not functioning,
right,
you're going to have extra inflammation in your body. So your joints hurt, etc. And fasting to me, it made all my joints feel amazing. And I got rid of, within 2 or 3 days, most of your inflammation goes away and you feel amazing.
Just water for 45 days.
I did water for 40 days.
40 days.
Was my longest. Now, I had done a lot of intermittent fasting prior to that as well.
Doesn't work for me.
Well, it doesn't work for everyone, but, it kind of changes when you're given 3 to 5 years, right?
That is so true. You have to find a way, one way or another. That's right.
I started doing longer fasts. So I did, a week here, 5 days here, a week there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be starting a new fast soon. That's going to be at least another 40 days. My thought process is this, and it seems logical. Whether or not the body will respond, I don't know. Fasting basically triggers autophagy. And what autophagy is, your body naturally goes after the bad cells first.
Oh my
God. If you had cancer, your body would actually attack those cells first.
Right.
If you have bad cells that aren't functioning or growing wrong, your body's going to go after those first. If you have extra skin, your body actually goes after that first.
So true.
Before it actually goes after your muscles, before it actually goes after your organs. There's lots of research done on this. You can go look at Dr. Fung's research. You can look at Dr. Berg. There's tons of information.
Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg is amazing. He talks a lot about autoimmune diseases lately because they're so prevalent.
You are amazing. Have you thought about writing the book about this? You should.
I might.
Another step away.
I might.
Step away.
Well, let me get cured first because I'm not quite there yet. I do fasting. I do acupuncture with some Chinese herbs as well that are good for the liver. I just started the acupuncture about 2 months ago because this has been a year-long journey.
Yeah.
So for the last year, I've gone from, oh my gosh, you don't have much time left, and I itch every day, to I'm getting it under control without pharmaceutical medication. It's kind of important to me to live longer because I have 2 children that are below 18. I want to make sure I'm there for them. That's my why, I guess. That's my big old...
that is your goal, actually,
I have to be there for them.
Stay healthy or you have to be there for them.
Oh, yeah.
But how long has it been you've been fighting? You seem to be doing great.
Well, I'm doing better. In November of last year, I started what's called EBOO. The EBOO, it's like kind of like kidney dialysis. So it's basically what it does is it takes your blood out, it filters it, and then it puts it back in. It's called extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozonation. It basically, it filters your blood out and then adds oxygen and ozone to it and sticks it back in.
And stick it back in.
That has helped too. I get a ton of uric acid and urea out of my blood when they filter it. It's kind of like, ooh, wow, that was in my blood, because my liver's not doing that. So I've done that a few times. I think that helps a lot. And then the natural herbs, and I've done detoxes, and I'm constantly detoxing. So I went from very high performing, productive businesswoman to someone that spends 6 to 8 hours a day taking care of her health. I work out 6 days a week. I lift weights. I walk a lot. I go to the sauna. I go to the steam room. I do cryotherapy. I do red light therapy. I do acupuncture. I do massage. And it's pricey because all this stuff is alternative stuff. I do IV therapy.
The insurance does not cover
the insurance doesn't
stuff.
cover
That's why
any
I
of
don't
it.
Get it.
The only thing I get covered is my blood tests. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do blood tests and sometimes they cover it, sometimes they don't. When it's ordered by a doctor, it's covered. But a lot of times
they don't.
Because I order it myself.
Right.
And I want to know my blood work to see if what I'm doing is having an impact. So every 2 to 4 weeks,
you order your blood work yourself.
Yeah. And there were times like when I was doing EBO, I was doing it every week so I could see, I'm getting better.
Those are pricey.
Actually, they're not too bad. You can get, everything I get is for under $100.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's cash. There's a lot of different health labs you can go to online. I do a metabolic panel and a lipid panel and a CBC.
Oh, wow.
And I just order them and then I go to a lab and I take them.
You take them.
So one of the problems with PBC is you have high cholesterol because your liver filters your blood and it can't filter the cholesterol out. They also sent me for a calcium score to see if I had any cholesterol buildup in my arteries, and I don't. I had a 0. So that was good.
That was good.
But I got a lot in my blood because I don't eat a lot of fatty foods or a lot of sugar, but it builds up because my liver doesn't filter it. The other thing is one of the problems is bone density.
Yes.
But my bones haven't started breaking down yet. So I've got really strong bones. I think it's because I lift weights. Now with lupus, you're not supposed to lift heavy weights, but I do anyway.
Yeah.
Because I believe muscle mass is extremely important.
Yeah. Muscle mass actually give you more energy and help you break down a lot of stuff if you have a strong
And you sweat a little bit. I'm not a big sweater though, so I don't get a lot of sweat out unless I go into a sauna or a steam room. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a year to see what happens.
Now, you also change all your diet too, right?
My diet was changed. Yeah, my diet changed. Every once in a while, I'll have a little bit of sugar, but in the beginning, I didn't take any sugar at all.
What do you normally eat daily?
I do have fruit.
Okay.
But with fiber, no juice.
Juice.
Because juice is just straight sugar. If you're drinking juice that's been processed, it's just straight sugar. But you could have like some berries because they have a lot of fiber. I like grapefruit because it's good for your liver as well.
It says the green leaves, like it's a lot of things like leafy green, dark green leaves.
Like broccoli is really good for blood cleansing. So is beets, but beets also have a lot of sugar. So you got to be careful. I eat seafood.
Okay.
But you got to make sure you got to be careful with the mercury.
With the mercury.
So
certain fish you eat, certain fish you should not eat that much.
Correct. One of the other things I did is chelation therapy.
What is that?
So that's a heavy metal detox with IVs. And it's a 5-week process. So every day, this is why I spend so much time.
Yeah.
It was every day for 4 days a week for 5 weeks.
For 5 weeks. And all of this is pricey.
And all of this was on my own. Yeah. For every day for 4 days a week, 4 days a week for 5 weeks, I went in and I did IVs. So they do like a Myers cocktail, then they do a chelation. I also did methylene blue, which is also a detoxer and also helps. You tend to have a candida overgrowth as well as bacteria overgrowth in your blood. And methylene blue helps with that.
All of these affect your hormone as well.
Your thyroid may get messed up because everything's tied together. I think the problem a lot with Western medicine is they look at the human body as if it was a car.
Right.
You can just take out the alternator and put a new one in. And the problem is the human body doesn't function that way.
Yeah.
So when the liver's not working, your cholesterol's up. When the liver's not working, your hormones get off.
Right. And
When the liver,
your kidneys,
your kidney, it's tough on my kidneys because they have to
Yes.
process more toxic waste.
Yes.
Your gut biome tends to go bad.
Oh my
So my gut
God.
biome doesn't function correctly. Your fatigue sets in. There can also be brain fog. I've been lucky enough not to have too much of that. But there are days where I might be functioning really well for a couple days, and then the third day I'm like knocked
You can't
out.
get out of bed. Yes.
I can't get out of bed. I'm exhausted. There's not much you can do about it.
So the day you're exhausted, just stay in bed.
As much as you can, but I have children, so I have responsibilities. There, so that still happens. So over the course of the last year, my enzymes have been slowly coming down.
That is awesome. Something right.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I said you should document every step.
I
of the
have
way,
been. I
and
have been.
You need to publish it. You know how much you're gonna help people out there.
Well, I'm hoping this podcast will start. If people
Yes.
respond to this podcast and want me to publish something, I can.
Yes.
But I'm still on the journey.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to finish the journey before I write anything up. But then within about 3 months, my liver enzymes went from about 1,100 down to 900.
That
in the
is
900s.
awesome.
Now, I'm giving you just the alkaline phosphatase number. Literally, all the markers on my liver enzymes, the gamma, the ALT, the AST, all of them were elevated at least tenfold over what they were supposed to be. Even my bilirubin was in the jaundice level.
That is
It was bad.
amazing.
So that's where it was in
Mhm.
February, March timeframe of 2024.
24.
So last year,
Yeah.
I said, okay. I just kept going. I was like, okay, I'm not going to eat that. I pretty much overnight just said,
This is
all
what
this
you're
stuff
gonna
is
do.
off
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah.
We know what's tough for your liver. Your liver doesn't process sugar well. Your liver doesn't process alcohol well. If you smoke, your liver doesn't. I never smoked, but your liver's not going to process nicotine well. It's also not going to process Tylenol or ibuprofen. Those things are very hard on your
Bad
liver.
for liver. That is right.
Any type of pain meds, terrible for your liver. So if I have pain, I don't get a pain med.
Oh, you have pain.
I deal with the pain.
You deal with it and you just sleep off.
I deal with the pain. I think I'm stronger for it, but I do deal with the pain. I don't take pain meds. And I had kind of allergic reactions to pain meds like codeine and stuff. My liver has never really processed them well anyway. Antibiotics, I try not to get on antibiotics. I try to tough it out as much as I can if I get any colds. We were talking about being intimate with people. I have to have every person I'm going to be intimate with tested
That's another
for everything before I even kiss them. I mean, literally, because if I get hepatitis, now I do have what's called autoimmune hepatitis. When they did the biopsy, they discovered that as well. That's
Is there
just
such a thing to autoimmune hepatitis?
it's basically your liver's got cirrhosis and it's an autoimmune problem.
So once your liver bad, everything starts to fall apart.
But I don't have viral hepatitis, so I can't be with somebody that does. And there's a lot of carriers out there that don't know they have viral hepatitis, and that would be deadly for me.
Now it's going to be hard for you to intimate with someone or dating. And
I don't want to catch any STDs, but nobody wants to catch that. But it would be very serious for me.
But whoever you're going to be dating or going out with, they need to understand from your point of view.
Yes, because
those are serious.
Can't go on antibiotics. So if you have something and I caught it, it would be very dangerous for me. So I need everyone tested prior to being intimate with anyone.
But you know what?
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, not just to you, it's to anyone out there that need to be out on dating and all of that. I highly suggest that you need to be tested.
And I can order a person's test online, just like I can order my own blood work. So,
coming from me, I'm with the same person and been with my husband for 25 years. I never have to worry about that.
And, you don't think when you're married.
Yes, that's another thing too.
Yeah, but I was fine. But I was just like, but now it's extremely important that whoever I'm with, that they're clean.
They're clean. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to everybody.
It's important to everybody. And I think we need to be more cognizant of it because you may have an autoimmune and not know it.
I not know it. So, this is so true.
But you need to be careful when you're out there. Especially if you have an autoimmune disease, because it will contribute to inflammation. You'll then have to possibly go on an antibiotic, which is hard on your liver. But because there's a lot of autoimmunes. But
semaglutide doesn't help you at all.
I didn't go on it.
You didn't.
Yeah, that was what got me to the liver specialist. I'm kind of nervous about different pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Just because everything seems to set me off. I get a rash, or I have a migraine, or I get When they're really bad, I get blisters in my mouth.
Oh, wow.
And
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's terrible because it's almost like a thrush I get from pharmaceuticals. It goes away when I stop, but it's painful, especially antibiotics. Antibiotics tend to trigger like the blisters. It's usually just on the top and the back of my throat, but I'm just like, every time I go on, or if I have a reaction, that's the first thing that happens.
The first thing happens when you're on antibiotics.
Antibiotics, yeah. So, and I'm allergic to penicillin and things like that too. So
you could die from that. You know that if you're allergic from penicillin.
Well, I don't take penicillin.
Yeah, so you have to make sure, like, you have to write it out.
I don't take any of the Cillins. Sulfa drugs give me blisters in my mouth, all the sulfa antibiotics. I did make sure that, I have all these restrictions. Last year, it started coming down. So I got down to 900 like 3 months later.
That's awesome.
And then 3 months after that, I got down to about 700. I'm like,
oh
my gosh.
Yes.
I'm on my way.
Yes.
And then I went up.
What makes it different?
I don't know. It might have been Thanksgiving. I don't know. Yeah. I had been fasting, and then I did eat during Thanksgiving, and I probably ate some things I probably shouldn't have, some cranberry sauce and things like that.
Who doesn't eat on Thanksgiving?
Well, I didn't have any pie, but I think I did have some ice cream, so that was probably terrible. So then my liver enzyme, because I tested when I came back from Thanksgiving, and they went up. So they went from 700 back up to 800. I was like, okay, so I got to buckle down again.
Right.
So I buckled down again, and I just did another test. Now, remember, when I had started, before my autoimmune triggered, my enzymes were in the 400s, the low 400s.
Yes.
So in January this year, I did another test, and my liver enzyme, my alkaline phosphatase, the reason why I just do this one, because it's a sign, and it's the easiest for me to remember. My alkaline phosphatase is now in the 500s.
That is good.
Yes. And my cholesterol dropped. It's almost back to normal.
Oh, wow.
Which means my liver is filtering again well.
Whatever you're doing, you have to keep...
I really think the TUDCA helps a lot. I do think some of the milk thistle and other things help too. And then my bilirubin is normal.
That is amazing.
And my ALT, AST are almost normal. And my gamma is better. So my liver is functioning better.
Right. Now, what is the normal number for liver Alzheimer,
I'll go through that in a second. But I ended up triggering healing. And I really think that the best things were the fasting.
The fasting.
Everybody says, what do you get the most benefit from when you're doing all these modalities? Because I've done pretty much every modality out there.
So I'm looking up what is the benefit of water fasting.
Water fasting? Oh my gosh, there's tons of benefits. Anyway, so my ALT, you did ask for this. So the ALT is supposed to be below 32.
Okay.
Mine is down in the 50 range now.
Oh, that's amazing.
My AST is supposed to be between 80 and 33. Mine is down into the 50 range as well. My alkaline phosphatase, that is supposed to be below between 44 and 147. Mine's down to 500s now. 44 is actually the best, right around that range. And I don't remember my gamma, but my bilirubin is back to normal, below 1.1 or something like that. My cholesterol, my bad cholesterol is still a little high, but my total cholesterol is fine. And all my blood markers, I don't have any signs of diabetes or anything like that, probably because I fast.
Because you're fast.
That's one of the benefits. So there was actually a study done that if somebody fasted for 21 days straight on water, that type 2 diabetes goes away.
It goes away. That's what they said, yes.
Now, this is not medical advice.
Right. This is from your own
This is from my own experience. When you water fast for over 5 days, you really need to be supervised or your blood work's run. And I have a doctor that will supervise my longer fasts. And you also need to take electrolytes. And I do take a multivitamin as well. But the electrolytes are crucial after day 4, day 5, somewhere in there, depending on the person, or you'll have an imbalance. Which is hard on your organs. And you don't want to do that.
Oh, wow.
It can be hard on your heart too.
And this is going to be a long journey for you. And you guys still
It's a long journey.
Yeah.
So my thought process is, okay, so I detox the liver. I did that with the chelation.
Right.
I've done that with many, many detoxes. I also do soft wave on my liver. Soft wave is I tell you, I got every modality I've tried. So soft wave it's high impact. It hurts.
Oh, wow.
It's a radio frequency, if I recall.
And you had that done too?
So I've been doing it on my joints, right, for a long time. It stimulates the body's natural healing. It does tissue regeneration, gets rid of pain, improves blood flow, and it triggers your own natural stem cell production. It's good for chronic pain, like plantar fasciitis, people do it on their feet a lot. Any injuries. So if you have I have a torn rotator cuff. Oh, one of the other complications of my disease is my ligaments tend to tear. I used to think it's because I was in gymnastics and that, it's just because I was rough on my joints. One of the problems with PBC is that you tend to get tears and they take a long time to heal. I've done soft wave. I've also done PRP therapy, platelet-rich plasma, where they take your blood, they spin it down, and they stick it back in your joint. Because remember, I'm alternative here. I'm not doing the...
No, I heard about those plasma, though, with the stem cell regenerate.
Yeah, so that helps too. And you can use stem cells too, because I've done that too.
And I don't know why the insurance doesn't cover these.
It's all new. Maybe they will. Maybe they will with the new administration. I don't know. We're doing a soft wave, which hasn't been done on an organ like this before, on my liver.
And it's painful, you said?
Not on my liver. It's painful on your joints when you have inflammation. It's sensitive. It's not really painful. I've done that too. What's going to happen is somebody's going to want to say, okay, let's figure out exactly what she did to fix herself or to get better. And the problem is I think it's a combination of everything. Because what happens is you may get 5% better because of this modality. You get 10% better because you water fasted. You get 3% better because you did soft wave. I get 15% better because I cleaned my blood with EBU. And I do all these different modalities. And what happens is each one makes you a little bit better. So none of them is the golden egg.
Right, it's not
I think
specific.
We're looking for that pill, right?
I know, the golden egg pill that you just take one pill and magically happen.
And it's all working together.
So I don't think whatever you've done, you get a little bit of the combination of everything. You cannot pinpoint.
No.
It works.
And I can tell you which things make me feel better right after. I can tell you that. Like the EBU, I feel better right after. Within 2 to 3 days of water fasting, my joints, I can make
fists. You feel better.
Because with PBC is your joints swell up. It's almost like having arthritis.
Lupus too.
It's part of lupus as well.
Yes.
I don't know if I have lupus. So I have the indicators for lupus in my blood, but PBC causes so much inflammation in your body that it can either trigger the same response as lupus or be a false positive for lupus. So I may have lupus, I may not. And as soon as the PBC goes away,
the lupus
should go away. They say there's no cure for PBC. They say there's no cure for lupus, and they say there's no cure for autoimmune hepatitis. But I'm trying to prove them wrong.
They said only you could slow them down. But
they say you can go into remission or slow them down. I'm at the point where I am trying to get my liver back to a 16-year-old liver, and I'm in my 50s.
I'm all for it.
I know. I've also gone to some meditation places. I try to keep the stress low, even though I am kind of a higher functioning. Stressful person, just mentally, I'm always going.
Now, you did say you've done better when you have a lot of going on.
When I have a lot going on, I do love to multitask. I do function better with a lot of stuff going on. As long as it's not an emotional stress, I think the divorce triggered it. It was probably a necessary thing that needed to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Anything happen for a reason. That's probably
it all happens.
It all happens. And now you have time to take care of yourself.
Here's the thing. If the divorce hadn't triggered it, something else would have.
Something else will.
Or my liver may have still continued to get worse. Maybe I needed that massive trigger to say, hey, it's a wake-up call.
Yeah,
right?
And none of this is genetic because all your family...
No one in my family has it. Basically, what I believe happened was there was damage caused from Clomid. But I was functioning. Yeah. And I was okay because my liver enzymes maintained.
Yeah.
But just because your liver enzymes maintain doesn't mean that you're not still incurring damage. And then what happened was I had a trigger, which was an emotional trigger or trauma. It happens to a lot of people with autoimmune. They have some type of emotional massive trigger. It could be massive stress at work. It could be a loss of a child or loss of a parent or loss of a spouse or have something that happens like maybe a friend gets cancer or something sets it off.
Yeah. Now I do personally know a person that I cannot reveal her name, but they tried to get pregnant and she went on all this fertility treatment and caused her liver cancer.
Well, here's the thing. If you get cirrhosis of the liver, you're much more likely to get liver cancer.
That's probably why.
Yeah. Liver cancer. So she probably had some damage
Yeah.
for the fertility treatments. Maybe it came
Mhm.
from Clomid. It might have also come
Mhm.
from the IVF because the IVF drugs are harder on your liver.
Yes. I am so glad we talk about this today. I think everyone needs to hear this.
They do. And if you're going to do fertility treatments, you need to be careful.
Yes.
And if you're doing fertility treatments, you need to make sure you're cleansing your liver
Yeah.
because your liver is important.
See, before you do any of that, you need to look at your own cell symptom first.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any symptoms before the Clomid, and my liver enzymes were functioning fine. So we're pretty sure the Clomid did damage. And then after that, triggered the autoimmune. Then I had a choice.
Yes.
And for, I'd say maybe a day or two, I was sad. You know, when your doctor tells you have cancer or an autoimmune or a heart disease and you need a heart transplant or something.
Yeah.
It smacks you down.
It smacks you down.
Definitely. And they always tell you the worst case scenario.
They do. That's happened to me. I had when my son was 7 months old and they found a lump on my right breast.
Yeah.
They tell you the worst.
They do. I think they do it
I remember crying every
to
night.
prepare you.
So, yeah.
I think they do it for liability reasons, from insurance perspective, but they tell you and it knocks you down.
Yes.
So it knocked me down for a day or two. But you know, the one thing about the divorce I can say is when I get knocked down, I get up a lot faster now.
That is so true. You become very stronger.
You do. I was like, okay, well, I could go about it two ways. I could sit here and take it, or I could figure it out because I'm a big problem solver. And I think that there are no problems without solutions.
You've done very well.
Yes.
And not just the road to recovery.
Yes. I believe that everything has a solution.
Solutions.
There's nothing in life that can't be solved. Now, whether people have the mentality or whether people have the drive to solve the problem, that's a different story.
That's a different story.
But if you have the drive and the ability to just always keep searching for the solution, even when you get knocked down, I'm sure there are some of the modalities I've tried that got me no closer to the solution.
But you find the solution.
But I keep going
for the solution.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
No matter what. Because I have the biggest freaking why in the world, and that's my 2 beautiful children.
Yes, you are.
So,
yep, and the beautiful lives.
I want to make sure I'm the one that raises them because we have a wonderful life together.
Yes.
So I have a huge why.
But even though everybody should have a huge why,
everybody should.
Solutions.
But you got to find it.
You have to find it. Yes.
I will say that when I was married, my why was my ex-husband. I did a lot of stuff for him. I ran businesses, I ran companies. And when we got divorced, I felt like I had lost part of my purpose.
Lost your purpose.
I kind of
but there's a new purpose.
I kind of find the autoimmune gave me a new purpose.
Yeah.
And the reality is if I can cure myself, I can help other people cure themselves.
You should totally write the books about it. I would definitely be the first one who buy.
Well, and here's the thing.
I'm so glad we talked about this today.
Oh, and one of the other things I do is, so autoimmune and cancer are very similar. They're all kind of triggered by sugar, and oxygen helps them, but they're very similar. So I also have done some modalities that are good to help people with cancer. Like there's different herbs you can take. There's even herbs you can bathe in because your skin helps too. So a lot of the things I'm doing also help people with cancer. Yes, if I do put a book together, it will help people with other types of autoimmune, not just PBC.
That is so.
It will also help people with cancer. And a lot of these things, skin conditions,
your hair.
Yeah. So a lot of these things I've done, even water fasting. Water fasting has been shown to kill cancer cells. So now, are you going to get cured from it? Maybe, maybe not. But long term, now this is not intermittent fasting, and this is not for the faint of heart, and this is not for someone that doesn't have medical supervision, and your doctor will probably tell you you're crazy.
Yeah.
So you'd have to find a doctor that would actually supervise you. There's also a medical clinic in California. I don't know if it's still there after the fires, but that would supervise medical fast for 40 days.
They do?
They do. And you actually go there and you do a water fast and they actually will supervise it. True North. That's what it's called. They will do long extended fasts anywhere from 14 to 40 days or possibly longer of water fasting. And they do your labs. They check on you every day. You need to exercise a little on the water fast. You're not going to go run a mile.
Yeah.
But you do need to walk. And you do need to get some exercise when you're fasting because you need to keep things flowing.
So water fasting, I think it's actually good for all your organs.
Yes. It's good for everything.
Not just for the liver.
Well, it's going to get rid of bad cells on everything.
Yes.
The other thing I do is I do coffee colonics.
What is
or
that?
Coffee enemas. Is where you flush your bowels with coffee. Coffee is supposed to be good when you do a coffee enema for your liver.
Like drinking coffee or?
No. You go in the back side.
In the back side.
Yeah, I do those daily. So it helps because when you're water fasting as well, you're not going to flow. Coffee enemas do help clean out your colon. I also do probiotics and prebiotics, so I should, mention that. And there's a ton of other modalities that I do and I've tried, and
I put this
the list of supplements are amazing.
I know. I put this collagen powder that they sell from Costco in my coffee every morning. Now I don't know if it's in my head or not. I've been taking it forever, but I noticed if I ran out, I'm too lazy to go get it. About a week later, something I think is in my head.
Well, no, collagen is actually a protein that's good for your skin.
Yeah.
I do colostrum. So do you know what colostrum is? So colostrum, they're not taking it from humans, but the colostrum is that clear substance that comes out of your nipples when you have a baby. You know what I'm talking about? When you first have a baby, the first day or two, you're not making milk.
Right. Oh, that
clear liquid that comes. So colostrum is actually from from cows that they make, and they powder it. And it helps with gut biome healing.
Oh, wow. You know what? Funny you say that. So when I had my son, it's been safe for years and years in our Asian tradition. When the baby have that, eyes, boogers and stuff, they put the milk.
Milk. They put it in their eyes. Yes.
Their eyes.
Yes, that helps that too. Because it's a probiotic.
Yeah.
And it helps with healing. It's a very natural thing.
Very natural.
And colostrums, I don't know if it's working or not, but you can't really tell about your gut biome. Hopefully I have less food allergies. Oh, one of the other things is I'm allergic to all kinds of food. I'm allergic to chicken.
You're allergic to chicken?
I'm allergic to beef. I can eat eggs. So like chicken, I really think the chicken thing is because they put so many antibiotics and so many steroids and hormones into chicken. I've tried organic and I still have a reaction. But you don't realize that, when you're eating chicken with antibiotics in it, you're getting those antibiotics too.
Your body fighting it.
My body doesn't like things that aren't natural and pure.
You are very expensive lady.
I'm a very, very expensive woman.
Okay.
And I'm doing it all on my own.
Hopefully this doesn't scare anyone away, but she could do it on her own.
Yeah.
You could do it on your own.
Yeah. What the reality is I'm hopefully going to narrow it down to just 10, 15 things you need to do.
Right.
That will help people with cancer, people with autoimmune, people with rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, because a lot of this hurts your joints. A lot of these things you can do will help with that too. And you never know.
I know I have arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis, but
I bet the EBU would help with that. An anti-inflammatory diet would help with that, and fasting would totally help with that because there's documented evidence on fasting.
There is the fasting, and actually, my doctor recommended fasting and the turmeric. But I take turmeric. I take daily multivitamins. But I think one thing it helped most when I lost weight.
Yes.
But it's not cute. And you know what I noticed that? The cold, rainy day and my joint extra hurt. Beside all of that, I start going to sauna. I start doing this, but I've been doing for the past 7 years.
Do you sweat during it?
I sweat a lot.
Here's the thing. We detox through our skin too, right?
I think that's probably make it. I think the sweating, it makes a bit, the sauna, the heated yoga. But you know what I think? I'm going to try the water fast. I wish I could do.
You need to start somewhere. Maybe you stop eating at noon and you don't eat until noon the next day. That's a 24-hour fast.
That's a 24 hours. But my problem is when I get out, I heat up everything in the fridge.
That's a habit.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe I should not keep anything.
Here's the thing. Insulin is also a hormone that's very inflammatory. And every time you eat, you trigger an insulin response. So you're creating inflammation every time you eat. So if you've got an autoimmune, you're triggering every time you eat, you're going to trigger an insulin response. So people that snack throughout the day, people that eat 3 meals or more a day, they're having insulin response throughout the whole day. And that is going to cause inflammation in your whole body all day long. If you can do nothing else, OMAD, which is called, it's a version of intermittent fasting. It's for 1 meal a day. OMAD will decrease your insulin response, which will help with inflammation. And that's just eating 1 meal a day. Because of the way the human body is, it would be best if you had a lunch instead of dinner. Because if you eat late at night, it's going to sit in your stomach. It's not going to process very quickly. And it's just going to cause inflammation too. So if you're going to do OMAD, do an OMAD with lunch.
With lunch.
Skip breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Eat lunch, and then don't eat again till the next day. And that's a 24-hour fast. Lunch to lunch is a 24-hour fast.
Another thing is the sugar fast. They say sugars is bad.
Sugar fast is not a fast because you're still getting insulin from everything you eat.
Everything you eat.
It's not a fast. That's a reduction of an item. Fasting, as fasting is not taking anything in.
Okay.
Now there's dry fasting too. One day of dry fasting is as good as 3 days of water fasting. Now, you're not going to dry fast for more than a day or two. Most people will never do more than a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
But a dry fast is when you don't drink any water.
Nothing at all.
You don't take any food in. You don't have anything coming into your system all day long. Now, I have done dry fasting for a day. Mm-hmm. I don't do more than a day. Mm-hmm. But I will say the inflammation goes away very quickly. And the reality is you're not really getting into autophagy, which is what I have to have for my autoimmune. My idea is I cleanse it. Autophagy, basically, I eat away at the bad cells around my liver.
Okay.
And then I rebuild the liver. And it's like a cyclical thing for me because I've got so much scar tissue that I have to keep doing it.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully as it regenerates, it'll regenerate a healthy liver. And that's my logical thought process. I don't know if my logic and reasoning is sound or not, but I soon will find out.
Yeah.
If I can get my liver enzymes back to normal and my liver's no more cirrhosis on the liver at all and the scar tissue goes away, then I will have succeeded. Yeah. That's my measure of success.
Yeah.
And I'll have to do another biopsy. And I'm waiting until I get liver enzymes back to normal because I'm going to get them there. Once I get there, I will do another biopsy. And if my liver no longer has cirrhosis, I basically will have cured myself.
Will cure yourself.
You don't get to autophagy from fasting until 3 days in, 2 to 3 days in. I have to have a minimum of a 3-day fast to get to autophagy. And your first 2 days are the worst. So your first 2 days when you water fast back to back, you're going to have headaches. You're going to feel like crap. It shouldn't be a day that you have stress. In fact, I've started fasts and had to stop when stressful stuff happened because you have to be in a mental headspace to start.
Okay.
The nice thing is by day 3, you don't even want to eat. By day 3, you're like, I got this. By day 3, you got energy again. I'm pretty cocky by day 3, I will say. I am happy. I'm healthy. I feel amazing. And I know this wasn't about water fasting, but since it's the modality that I do get the most benefit from, that's why I'm staying on it. Mm-hmm. But by day 3, I'm fine. So if you can make it to day 3, you can make it to day 5.
Day 5.
It's no problem.
So when do you add electrolyte in that day?
I would do day 4 now because I have found that I do deplete my electrolytes sooner than I used to add it at day 5. And sometimes if I don't feel well, I'll even add it at day 3.
Okay.
But I also feel really crappy the first day. And by day 2, I feel fine. So because I've done so many fasts, I feel better, and I've lost pounds. That's something that, over the course of this time frame, and I've kept it off. It's not like it's come back.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with water fasting. And my skin looks better. Your skin will clear up. It might look worse in the beginning, especially if you're doing a long, prolonged fast. Usually between day 3 and 7, I will find I get a few breakouts here and there. But then by day 7, it looks amazing. And everyone says I look young for my age because I'm 52 and people think I'm in my 30s or late 30s or early 40s. And it's because of, I believe, the water fasting. And I have more energy. You have clarity of thought.
Yeah.
It's been shown to help people with Alzheimer's and dementia. It helps with autophagy. It helps with inflammation. People used to fast all the time. Now, I'm not telling anybody to go on a 40-day water fast because that's a very big thing.
You have to start.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of the benefits by a 5-day fast.
Just a 5 days?
Just a 5-day. And you could do 5 days once a quarter.
That is true.
And I would recommend doing blood work before and then blood work after. So you can see if you've got high blood pressure, it fixes high blood pressure. Now, if you have low blood pressure like me, you got to be careful. And that's why the electrolytes are important because I have low blood pressure anyway. I think everyone, there's type 1 diabetes, which you shouldn't be fasting unless your doctor's supervising stuff. There's certain things and reasons why you can't. But if you're a healthy person, I really believe that if you fast, you're going to preemptively take out a lot of problems that are coming in the future.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about fasting.
Fasting is big. And then by the end of the second day, you're in autophagy and you're clearing out the crap.
Yeah.
It also helps detox you. And so you're getting rid of all the waste that builds up in your body.
Yeah, all the water that you drink will flush it all.
You flush out a lot of stuff, a lot of toxins. But
they said after you fast, like day 5, after a certain time of fast, you don't even want to, when you break your fast, what do you eat?
so you would come back with protein.
Okay.
And actually, I usually come back with broth. And when you come back, it's like on a 40-day fast, you're refeeding for 20 days. You're each day introducing a little bit more, and you're slowly reintroducing food. You can't shock your body back.
Yeah.
Breaking the fast is more important than the fast because you can actually cause trauma to your organs if you break it in the wrong way. And you really need to do your research first.
Yeah.
And then there's EBU, and it's like a dialysis where it cleans your blood. And EBU has been very beneficial to me. I feel amazed, like my inflammation goes away while I'm having EBU done. So it's about an hour and a half long process, and they just take a liter or 2 liters of blood, and at the same time, it's cleaned and filtered. At the same time, it's going back in you. It's got ozone and oxygen. Yeah. So it really does clean the blood, and you feel better.
They take blood out, filter it, and put it back in.
Yes. So it's expensive. If I had the money, I would do it every week, though. I would, because you do get a very big feeling of improvement. I do think that helps my liver. That is crucial for PBC. Now, if you have a different autoimmune, it may not be as necessary, but with EBU, for your liver, it's a good detox. And then now there's other places too. Some of them are in Mexico, like Hope for Cancer and places like that help with detoxing, and they'll put you on juice fast where all you do is juice for 30 days or 45 days or whatnot. Juicing's becoming a big thing, and a lot of people do that. However, you're still getting sugar. Your body's still processing nutrients because you got to re-nutrient your body. And I'm re-nutrienting it with organic, clean food. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to do these longer-term fasts. This is my last 40-day because I don't have enough fat left to do a long-term one after this. But I'll do a 7 or a 14-day after this. You do lose a little bit of muscle after day 5. You're going to break down some muscle. And here's the thing. You're breaking down the parts of the muscle that are probably bad first.
Yeah.
When I'm at 25% body fat, I could do like a 5-day. But if you can't do a 40-day water fast and only have 25% body fat, because what will happen once your body gets rid of all the bad stuff, it'll start going after your muscle. And then once it's done with going after your muscle, it'll go after organs. Now, I need a little bit of that because I need it to go after my liver, the bad parts, but I don't want it to go after the good parts.
Right. So that's a facility for you to do this.
Yes, you can go to True North and get medically supervised if you have the time and money to go and get medically supervised. And there are people with cancers. And there are people with type 2 diabetes that will go there. And there's people with autoimmunes. Now, it's not a cure. It might be.
You never know. You don't.
But it may not be. You may still want to go other avenues at the same time. You need to talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Because everybody's situation is different. And everybody's chemistry is different.
Yeah. Now, whatever you do, you side by side with your doctor. You see a lot of doctors.
You do. I see so many doctors.
You see so many doctors.
I've had so many doctors. And I can't do prednisone. I can't do a lot of those other drugs too. I have reactions to that for like my shoulders and my knees and my joints. I can't do any of that stuff. So I just look for the natural alternative to everything.
Yes.
I do. If I get inflammation, I go arnica. I put arnica on it. Like if I get a bruise or if my knee hurts. There's just a lot of natural things you can do. And we are blessed. And I am so grateful that we live in today's society because there's so much you can do
out there. Yes.
The other problem I find is you got to be careful with the supplementation. People say, oh, milk thistle is good for your liver, but you need milk thistle with like some other cocktails too. Vitamin D is great for your liver, but you also need vitamin K and zinc. And, there's other things you need to take with them. In order to make them active. We need extra vitamin D when we have autoimmunes, right? Because we don't process, when you have an autoimmune, you might need way more vitamin D than the normal recommended allowance because we don't process things the same way. And and the reality is I'm actually looking forward to AI because I truly believe that AI is going to be able to take some of the data that we collect and sift through and say, this would trigger this and this and this. I think AI is going to look at the body more as a whole, whereas a lot of medical specialists look at the body as individual parts.
Right.
Same thing with supplements. they look at the body as individual parts. Let me fix the liver. Well, you take that supplement, it's good for the liver, but it's hard on your kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you take that, but it might affect your heart. It's funny. I had a doctor that they just looked at my cholesterol and they're like, oh, we need to put you on a statin.
What is that?
A statin it's an anti-cholesterol drug. And a lot of people that go on it get type 2 diabetes. It's one of the side effects. It's so funny that the doctor didn't pay attention to my liver enzymes because statins are very hard on your liver.
On your liver.
With PBC, that would have been toxic.
Yeah. Same thing with all the pains. That would have been bad, too.
Oh, painkillers. I never take painkillers. They always made me feel bad. Make my stomach feel bad. I get inflamed from them. Stuff that's supposed to make you anti-inflamed cause me inflammation. But, it's funny because there are doctors, and the funny thing was he ended up having a liver transplant, that doctor that tried to put me on a statin.
Oh, wow. You should have known that.
Take advice from him, no?
Yeah.
So, you got to be careful, too, and get second opinions if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of doctors push drugs and pills, and they don't make sense. You got to be your best advocate. And I think we give up too much power. We give up too much of our own power to a doctor. And we don't do our own research.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that hopefully I get across today is that there's alternative ways. There's Chinese medicine that it's really starting to come about. There's natural herbs. There's other things that will help. Now, I'm not cured yet, but I will be. And I know I will be.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to what results I get from the things that I do.
Yes.
I know in my heart that I will be. I will find the solution because that's what I do. You have to be your own advocate because you can't give up your health to a doctor because they don't know you.
Right. You have to listen to your symptoms.
Listen to your heart, listen to your soul, listen to your body, and mental health affects your liver.
Everything.
Spiritual health affects your liver. Sexual health affects your liver.
Oh, that's a big part.
It's all affecting your liver.
Yes.
And your relationships affect your liver because stress can trigger autoimmunes.
That is so true.
And it could trigger MS, it could trigger lupus, it can trigger all kinds of other problems. So stress is huge.
It is.
It's a chemical imbalance in the system. And people don't realize it.
People don't. That happened to my own mother.
Yes.
When my dad, so she lost both of her husband in sudden death. When my dad passed, my mom didn't talk for 3 years. And they don't know. Back then, she was very young. She was only in her 30s.
Yeah.
And took her a long way to come out. And then she started keeping herself busy, but she just didn't talk. And my mom's really talkative. And then as the day goes on, move on, and she remarried again. Now, my stepdad, he's like our dad to us. There's people confused. We call him dad because he literally raised us. And he also the MD. I don't know. But he is a doctor who cures everybody. He
does alternative stuff, basically.
Yeah, he does alternative stuff when he come back from the army. And the whole town talked about him. So anyway, my mom ended up marrying him. But, he never looked at himself. He died of massive heart attack.
They say doctors and nurses make the worst patients.
Yeah,
they don't take care of themselves. They're so busy caring for and taking. And heads up to our doctors and nurses. I don't mean to slam the medical community. You guys go through a lot.
They do go through a lot.
But just like there's bad realtors, there's bad truck drivers, there's bad managers. There's some doctors out there that aren't the best.
Yeah.
And on top of it, they might be a great doctor. They just don't know you. So you still have to be your own advocate.
Yeah, but that is so true. But he lived till 85. I never see him take any drug. The man eat the same thing, same time, and take his vitamin daily every day.
Yeah.
After my stepdad passed again, my mom went through this shock. And what the doctor said, that's how when she started her dementia. The doctor said that both of the stress brought on her.
The emotional stress brought on dementia. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and she started blocking. They said the stress that make her block all of those stuff, and now she is not working.
And her problem is stress.
Yes.
So if she reduces her stress, so she's reducing the problem, not just the symptom. I think a lot of the drugs today, they treat the symptom. They don't treat the root cause or the problem.
Yeah.
They prolong your life. They don't necessarily give you a better life.
Yeah.
And they prolong your disease. They don't necessarily cure the disease. Now, there are some drugs out there that are great. I choose to go the natural route. You may choose with PBC to follow your doctor and do URSO.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It literally felt like my blood was acid.
Acid.
It felt like I was burning from the inside out. I had such a bad reaction to it. It was terrible. I went back and looked at, I was like, I had this reaction, I had heart palpitations. I felt like I was passing out, literally was dizzy. I threw up. The first day I was rough. I had a headache. I felt itchy. I didn't feel good. I was like, this thing is supposed to help my liver. It's making me more itchy.
Took you 3 days to get over it? Or?
No, it took me 3 days for me to just say, no way in hell.
No way in hell.
You know, and I was telling the doctor, I'm having these problems. Oh, just keep trying. It should go away. You know, they don't know. It's called practicing medicine, not knowledge of medicine.
Right, right.
They don't know how you're going to react. We're like test subjects for a lot of these medications because everybody's biochemistry is different.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so it may work for someone else. It just doesn't work for me.
You. Yes.
And I know what works for me. And I prefer to go a natural route. Other people may be fine doing the pharmaceutical route and they may have a long, healthy life and it's cheaper.
Definitely cheaper.
Well, the Urso's not cheap and some of the other FDA drugs, they're not cheap.
That's not necessarily cheap though, but that's because insurance paid for it.
Well, and here's the other thing. Too. I think you pay for it in destruction of your other organs.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Because Urso's hard on your kidneys. You do some of these pharmaceuticals, it may fix one organ. Like I said, they look at it as a car.
Yeah.
You break down one organ, you fix one organ, but you break down another one.
Yeah.
You know, just like the statin, you may fix your cholesterol, but now you have type 2 diabetes. There's just different. Every drug has a side effect.
And different for everybody.
There is a drug that I've taken that I didn't have a side effect to.
Okay.
So it's called cholestyramine.
I've learned a lot today.
You have. So it's an anti-cholesterol drug. But one of the side effects is it binds to liver bile and helps you process it out. So it's an off-book cholestyramine. It's used for high cholesterol in the blood. So it does help me with my cholesterol. But, I don't really care about my cholesterol, honestly, because once my liver's fixed, my cholesterol will go down. Because as my liver's been healing, my cholesterol's been dropping. Mm-hmm. But one of the side effects of cholestyramine is that it binds to bile, not just cholesterol. So it binds to liver bile and helps you get rid of it. Mm-hmm. When you have a PBC, your liver bile kind of gets toxic and stagnant. Mm-hmm. So when you can release it, the cholestyramine will help with the itching or the pruritus. So it's going to help you get rid of all of that itching. And that does help. Now, I don't take it all the time. Mm-hmm. I'll take it when the itching gets really bad and I can't sleep at night. Mm-hmm. It's a powder and there's very, very few side effects. Thank God, because if there were a lot of side effects, I'd have them all. But it's one of those things. So I'm not anti-pharmaceutical, but I am anti-pharmaceuticals that have massive impacts on me.
The certain one.
Yeah, because my liver doesn't process stuff out like other people's do. I'm clean. I eat very healthy, and I make sure that anything I put into my body is healthy.
Yeah.
I don't want any extra toxins. I don't want any added stress. So it's also a good thing I'm divorced because now I don't have the added stress of that.
Yeah.
All of these things are actually positives because they all help me. I'm getting the best shape of my life.
Yes.
My muscles are getting very powerful. You guys, you're going to have to remember when you have a cancer or you have an autoimmune or any type of disease, your mindset matters and your belief in what you can do matters.
Yes.
You can't just say it. You have to believe it.
You have to believe in it.
So I'm going to end with that. I think you got to believe in yourself, what you can do, and you got to believe that anything's possible because it truly is.
Yes.
And every problem has a solution.
Now, before we ending, you said you're about to start your 40 days water fast again.
Yes.
Let's do that. And then are you going to do your test before your 40 days and then do another test after 40 days?
Because this may, the reality is in 40 days, I might be done.
I
might cure myself at the end of the 40 days because in the 500s, I'm almost back down to where I was pre-autoimmune. I might actually be able to get it back to normal. So that's what I'm hoping. If I don't, I'm going to keep trying.
Keep going.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, let's stay tuned for that.
Every improvement is a basic improvement. Okay, I'll come back in 45 days or so and give you an update and let you know how it went and tell you, hey, so this is what happened and this is where my numbers were and this is where my numbers are and we'll go and then I'll tell you if I get cured and when the book's coming.
Yes. I know. I'm truly appreciate that you shared your personal life,
Yes.
health journeys. So, and I think this is going to help a lot of people.
I hope it does.
Yes.
And, they give you a number of years left, or
Yeah,
they have to give you the worst case scenario. Just realize that. I mean, I think it's a liability thing, as well as they want to shock you so that you take it seriously. Because, it's funny because when I went off the urso, my doctor's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "You know what you have, right?" He's like, "This is an extremely serious autoimmune." And I go, "I know."
Mhm.
I said, "I got this."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, it could get worse." I go, "It won't."
Yeah.
I go, "I got this."
Yeah.
And I believe in myself, and I believe in what I'm capable of.
Mhm.
And I believe my body will heal itself if I just give it the tools it needs.
Yes.
So that's the route I took. Now, other people may want to do the URSO and may follow everything their doctor says, and that's their choice.
That's their choice.
But my choice is to do a different route. So I'm just giving you an alternative. It may work for you, it may not. You make your own choices, and you be your own best advocate in life, because you're the only one that can advocate for your health.
Yeah.
Because no one cares as much about your health as you do.
After this episode, I have totally clear understanding about autoimmune. A lot of people do not understand.
Autoimmune.
A lot of people do not understand, and they don't take it seriously.
Well, stress is a huge trigger.
Yes.
It causes inflammation
Mhm.
based off of hormones, insulin, and other types of hormones in your body, thyroid hormones, things like that. It makes your body have a chemical breakdown, basically. So a chemical imbalance. And it's not normal to have the amount of stress that we have. And that's why triggers, it could be any trigger. Mine happened to just be a divorce, but it could be any trigger that can trigger the autoimmune because it's a high amount of stress. It could be a lot of stress at work. It could have been that I was dealing with a major client transaction that fell apart, or dealing with any type of level. Any of those things could be a trigger and trigger your autoimmune. I really dug in deep.
Yeah.
And I dig in deeper every day, and I learn more and more about it. Hopefully, I have helped someone today.
Yes.
With something, even a little bit, that will help you make it a little easier on you. And the reality is you could still be on URSO and do some of these other modalities. Or you could be on whatever pharmaceuticals and do some of these other modalities. Just clear it with your doctor. And if your doctor doesn't know why he says no, ask him why. Like, can I do a sauna? And he says no. Say why. Ask your doctor why. Because a lot of them aren't trained in nutrition. A lot of them aren't trained in how to deal with different types of alternative medicines, and they dismiss them.
Yes.
But they don't know why.
Yeah.
They just were never taught. Well, it's like, if you take a kid that's never driven before, they're going to run into a freaking curb. But if you give them experience in one area, they now know how to drive the city streets, but they still can't get on the highway.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the doctor just may not know how to get on the highway yet and learn other solutions. There's other things out there that people don't know. And everybody's biochemistry, again, is different. But nonetheless, let's wrap up and let everybody go. And I hope that you learned something today. I hope that I can help. Feel free to stick a comment down below and ask questions. And if I don't know the answer, maybe I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah. I wish
you luck.
We talked today.
Yeah. Wonderful. And hopefully it helps other people with other autoimmunes as well.
Yes, I definitely.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. See you soon.
This is Diva Mia signing off.
This is Diva Cat signing off now.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.